This is Michael Chatfield, and could you tell us what's your last book about?
So the last book I have out is Existential Threat. Well, that's the one that's coming up next. It's a science fiction lit RPG book. It's about kind of if video games were brought into real world, but in a science fiction like 100 years in the future, which is, I don't know, it's really cool to me of how video games and gamification would meet the real world. Yeah.
And how many copies have you sold?
So that one's on pre-order right now, but I know that the last one that we sold was Sliding Reality, and Sliding Reality, I think we've sold something over 10,000, 20,000 copies. Yeah.
And Michael, do you think we're witnessing a historical transformation in the publishing industry?
I definitely think there's a lot of factors right now that are changing publishing in a huge way. I know a lot of talks right now are being had about AI and how it can help us. I was having a chat with a friend this morning about how AI is turning into a sounding board for a lot of people. Of they throw ideas at it, they can chat to it in real time and kind of work through their outlines and smooth things out. There's also independent ways of publishing that are really coming to the fore. So there's a lot of platforms that are getting more accessible to people around the world internationally, which I think is great because it allows so much more creativity. It allows so much change to happen because it comes from all around the world instead of certain places.
And you mentioned AI, and what tool is best for you for selling books?
So I'll take that as two different questions, the AI and the best way to sell books. So with AI, I'm very new to the area. I'm still learning. And I would say to anyone that's coming into writing right now, they should really go and have a look at AI. Because it's here to stay. The genie's out of the bottle, as it can be said. And I think you kind of need to learn what tools are going to be here in the future because ChatGPT and these other tools are here. Utilize them, understand them, because the scariest thing is the thing that's unknown. With sales and such, I think we're really seeing sales changing in a huge way because a lot of talks I've heard are people going direct. They're using the sales services as partnerships instead of they're going to them directly and using them as a service, which is really cool because it creates that whole partnership economy where you go, okay, I want to work with you because we can both do great things for our readership, for our businesses, which is really cool because then you can get closer to the reader. You can really support the reader and what they want to have. So with selling, I think that's changing as well. I think the platforms are changing a lot as well. And authors are really getting into the selling distribution side themselves instead of it just being run by companies.
And Michael, what advice would you give to a person who wants to publish their new book? Their first book.
So if you want to publish your first book, first of all, write it. It's always the hardest thing to start something and finish something. You really have to make a promise to yourself and to your future reader that you're going to finish this thing and you're going to put it out there. It is terrifying to do it the first time, but I won't say it gets easier, but the fears become recognizable. You know what hurdles you're going to have in the future. So definitely, look also at what's your book about, what's the market that it's going to go to. Sometimes it's maybe you have to go to a different seller, a different place. One example is I know that a lot of people now are starting selling books on, well, not selling, but distributing books on Royal Road and Wattpad. Then they're moving to Amazon and other distribution channels. So it really is like where you would read your book, where you would discover your book, look at going there. Like you don't have to follow the mainstream, find your path. And with that, talk to others that are in the sphere, read where you want to read and go, okay, this is a cool place. I like this area. Go in there, Readers and authors, the barriers between them are really quite paper thin. Go and ask, the writers that you read and you enjoy and that your books are akin to get through there. Because, every genre is different. Every book is different. It makes it a little easier to go to someone directly and say, hey, how did you do it? Because I think I'm really aligned with what you've got here too.
And we're here at 20Books. What do you think about events like this?
I think events like this are really useful. One, it helps build your network. And I mean that in not only of like selling and all that, but it really is like you make friends here that are going to be friends for a very long time. I've been doing this for 9 years. I only got into conferences about 7 years ago, and me and my friends are working together collaboratively on so many different projects, and I do call them friends. Even though we aren't competitors technically, we always are talking about, okay, this is a thing that's coming up, oh, I'm trying this. Do you have some advice about this? Networking is hugely important. Also, there's going to be information that comes up that people have looked at or tried, because in different genres, different things are going on because they've created cultured networks in those. So sharing the intermingling of genres and breaking down barriers between genres and just having authors unite is really, really powerful. Don't ever, think that I'm going to go to this thing and I'm going to be denied for it, especially within the independent community. It is a whole thing of just put your best foot forward and try, because, that's what we did at the beginning, and that's what everyone's doing here every single day.
Thank you for your time, Michael.
Cheers, thank you.